Today, I'm going to take you on a journey on how important it is when you're scaling revenue to ensure you're pricing your products correctly so you don't affect your margin. So, say we have a business right now that does 500,000 a year in revenue, and your goal is to hit 1 million and then one day 2 million. The effective journey that you're trying to go on is ×4 growth. Now let's talk about the unit economics behind these businesses. So say you have a product that sells for 8K a year, so 8K, every year you grow, you're not going to change your pricing and you're going to go up. 8,000 is the price that you set for your product. To achieve 500,000 in revenue, you're going to have to do 62.5 units, you're going to have to do 125 units, and you're going to have to do 250 units. So your growth in this decision is all about increasing the units that you're doing. Now what that means is, yes, you will achieve revenue growth. But when you're trying to grow revenue, if you don't look at your pricing or look at your margins, what can occur is this fantastic 4x growth in revenue can dwindle down. So I'll show you what I mean. Say to deliver your $8,000 product, if you're a recruiter, if you're selling a service or a course or a trade or a product, to deliver that, you usually have a cost of goods sold. And say you run a cost of goods sold margin of 60%, which means your product costs you $4,800 to deliver, and at the end, you're making $3,200 per product. Pretty good margins, and effectively as you scale, this is the important factor to look at. So if I do 62 units and my gross profit margin is $3,200, I will end up with $200,000 of gross profit. As we grow, so we're effectively doubling and then doubling again. If you have cost of good creep, so say we have inflation right now, 8%, and say we grow again at 8%, what is your margins can get really squeezed. So my cost of goods increases to say 65%, it increases to 70%, and we start to have erosion in our margin. Where our cost used to cost $4,800, our product now to deliver costs us $5,000, and then it creeps up to $5,600 almost. And as we scale, we can see our gross profit decrease to $2,800 and almost down to $2,400. As we are scaling revenue, our margins are coming down. And that's fine, but it's important to acknowledge what that has, an effect it has on your business. So your gross profit goes down to $352,000 and it goes down to $600,000. These are incredible numbers. Growth in business is exciting. It provides cash flow, it makes you feel good, you can have a huge value increase of a business of that size. But what we don't really want to have is this trade-off between growth and margin erosion. So we have scaled 4 times our revenue, but our gross profit has decreased to 3 times. Now, that might be a strategy of yours, but in fact, most of the clients we talk to, when they scale, the inflationary pressure that comes into their product set becomes a really big sticking point. If you do not adjust your pricing along the journey, your margins get skinnier and skinnier, which has an effect on your profit. Any business owner knows to go from 500,000 to 2 million, you're going to have expense increases. Your expenses will invariably increase. You might have marketing, you might have rent, you might have wages. So business doing 200,000, say your wage cost was nothing, and then we had to increase it 100,000 per year or even to 200,000 per year, your margins will really start to decrease. So you might have a profit of 200,000, you might have a profit of 300,000. What happens is your growth across your profit really starts to dwindle. So you might only be growing at 1.2 times or 1.5 times on the journey. All that effort to grow your revenue gets deteriorated down to your gross profit and gets further eroded to your profit margin. And again, growth costs. It costs marketing, it costs investment, you make a lot of mistakes. What I'm trying to highlight here is small businesses usually have inefficient margins and pressure on your margins. If you do not effectively increase your unit economics or understand, oh gosh, my inflationary pressure or my expense pressure is growing, what you can end up is a bigger, harder business to run and not much money at the end. If that's strategic, because you have a valuation in mind or a sale in mind, or you're trying to get a leg up into a certain realm in business with bigger contracts or bigger networks and referrals, amazing. Often we do find in businesses when they scale revenue, margins decrease, cash becomes tight, and we have this tenuous position where they want to go back and they want to unwind.